Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and my studio. Today we're going to ink blend on some die cuts to create a little depth and visual dimension and keep it very simple for our floral bloom card. Let's get into the project. Here are a few of the products I'm going to be using today, and I went ahead and did some die cutting to get started because we're going to take a single color of cardstock. We're going to use some different ink blending brushes and some different shades of purple to create a beautiful bloom for our card project today. But I am going to start out by first creating a panel using one of my A2 masks. This is one of my favorite ways to build a card design. So let me get set up for some quick ink blending to create a grounding area for my bloom. I'm going to start out with my blending today, and I'm going to take my little protector off of my stamp and stencil mat. And I wanted to show you, I always put a little piece of the Tim Holtz grip mat underneath, just holds this nicely if you work on a slick surface like I do. Just pull that down a little. I'm going to take my cardstock, and this panel is just trimmed to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to take my layer mask and just line this up perfectly on the 6 by 6 outline that is on the mat. Here, let's get this over here, like that. Drop it down, and now I know when I add my color, I'm going to be perfectly centered on this panel, and this mat also will hold my stencil in place while I ink blend. So let's start with some ink blending. I'm going to start with my lightest color and move to my darkest color. To get it off of the mat, you just bend it and it releases. You can hear that good sound. And gently, it's sticking to the other side, and gently pull it off. When these mats are brand new, they are stickier, but over time they get a little less so. So I'm going to set this aside and we're going to move on to ink blending our florals. Next, I'm going to show you another tool you can use for blending and holding things in place, and that is the new grip mat from Waffle Flower. This is a sticky mat. This can be run under water to be easily cleaned, but it will also, here, let's turn it this way, it will also just hold the smallest of die cuts in place. It comes with alignment guides, which I don't need. I am going to be creating blooms that take the lightest colors. I'm going to cut these off. In fact, I'll just do it right now to show you what I'm doing. I'm going to take the purple floral and cut. This will be, oh, this is very sticky, the lightest shade on my bloom. And see, it doesn't matter if you don't have all the cardstock in the world, because, I think I trimmed that a little tight, but that's okay, because we're going to darken and change the color of the other blooms. So we're going to take the 2 leaves of the, or petals, I guess. We're going to take the 2 petals that are that one, and we're going to take these petals down here, and we are going to change the colors. So again, I'm going to get my ink back out. I'm going to take Orchid, the mid-tone here, and I'm going to take a smaller blending brush. I'm going to tap a little off. Let's try to get that out of the way. And I'm just going to blend up on these to create a different tone. Darker at the base and lighter going up. That's so pretty. I don't ink blend die cuts enough. I really need to do this more. Now we're just going to create the darkest petal here. Bring it on and go right up. And once this all dries back, we will have blooms ready to go. And now I'll just take this to my sink, run it under cool water, and put the acetates back on for the next use. I'm going to go ahead and trim this panel down to add some foam tape so that we can start building the card. I'm going to go ahead and use my Score Buddy to score a white note card. So this will be scored at 5.5 inches. And the cardstock is 4 1/4 inches this way by 11 inches. That way it folds down to create a nice US A2 note card. Great. And we're going to start by popping this right onto the card base. I've just got some foam tape on the back here. All right, so now we have a nice little margin of space. Now we just have to arrange our floral. Now I still haven't figured out my greeting, but honestly I'm not too worried about it because I think I'm going to use a sentiment strip. But one of the things I love about creating this grounding box is how the whole floral can bust out of it, and I think that is just so cute. And I'm just planning to glue on top of this green base. I don't think the green's going to show through, so let's go ahead and add this with some liquid glue. And we're just going to position this so that little parts are busting out of that box. Oh, I love that. Just like that. Okay. Place that down. And now we'll just add the rest of the flowers and we'll build them up. How sweet is that, right? You can zhuzh up that little top leaf, but see how you get that extra dimension just by having the 3 different layers of color, and that's just one color of cardstock. Let me find a sentiment strip that would work with this to finish out the card. I went ahead and cut down this sentiment, "You Are So Kind," and this comes from my CZ Design Reverse Foundations Sentiment Strip Pack. I keep all my extras in one of these Simon clear pockets. They're great for keeping all the sentiment strips that you cut apart in one place. And I used my sentiment label dies to cut this out. What I like to do is take a dark marker. This is my Copic T10, and I like to go over the sides of the sentiment strips because they are printed on white cardstock. And this gives the edge a very finished look and makes it look like it is black cardstock with white type. But in fact, the term reverse actually is a design term for the absence of color, which you get from the white cardstock underneath. I'll put a little foam strip on the back of this so we can finish out the design. I'm going to add my little greeting. Okay. And let me get my tweezers. I'm going to offset this slightly, and I'm going to put on just a strip of my liquid glue, which helps to, just have this kind of wiggle before it sticks too hard. And I just want this to be right here. And I'm going to bring in my Simon T-square, butt that up right against the edge of the card, and just make sure I have that perfectly straight. That looks great. Now, I realized when I was looking at this, I probably should have ink blended on the base layer with the lightest color, but you know what? I think it still works. I just realized you could have added color everywhere. All right, let's take a few sequins and pop down a few. I'm not sure what sizes I want to do here. Maybe, let's see. I thought that this sort of opalescent sequin would be very pretty. About just a simple arrangement like that. It'll just add some shine coming from the base. So let's go ahead and glue these down to finish the card. I'm using liquid glue. Boop. Boop. Wait. Boop. And the last one here, like that. And that's the finished card project. Well, let's see here. I am going to scrape a little of that extra glue off of that sequin. Hold on here. Ooh, look at that. Pick it right up with my Simon Place and Pierce wand. And the rest of that will dry clear. I love how this turned out with the simple grounding ink blended wash of monochromatic color and the monochromatic flower as well. So don't worry if you don't have all the fancy matching cardstocks. Use the inks that you have on hand to build out more tonal variety for the cardstock you plan to use. Thanks so much for watching today. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. And if you do subscribe, be sure to hit that gray bell so that you don't miss the next time I post. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Here are a few more card projects you may want to check out on my channel, so I'll see you in those videos.